Hi, Andre. How are
Hello,
you?
quite well.
Good to see you back on. Yeah, happy to see you. It's been a while.
Yeah, it's glad to be here.
Yeah,
So, yeah, let's get started.
good. We just gave it 1 minute and we get the ball rolling. For those of you that are in the comment section, we want to say thank you for being part of this journey with us. And we just do a short timing for us to get officially started. Yeah,
Yeah, maybe we can wait like 5 more minutes until people
yeah.
connect.
Yes, that would be good. I'm going to put this on a timer right now, 5 minutes for people to connect. Then we go live with
Yes,
the entire conversation. Yeah. So I'm saying some amazing comments. People are in the comment section. We have somebody from, is it Israel? Hello from Israel from this call. Okay. Yeah. Hi. How are you? Hello, everyone. Yeah. Yeah. We got the microphone issue fixed. Thank you for pointing us out. So just to let you guys know, those of you in the comment section, we have our backstage team ready to give you all the full support that you need. Make sure you leave your comment in the sessions, and Marks and Ewan, they're all in the back to make sure that they provide you with all the best responses that they can. Okay, yep, we have this one. So tell where you're joining us from. Just send us your flag. Just put in your flag in the your country flag in the comment section. Let us know where you're joining from. Yeah, we got to connect with you. This is actually a global community that bringing together people like you. So please leave your comment with your flag in the session. So Andrew, we have like 2 minutes to go.
yes,
Okay. Yep. 1 minute to go.
yeah. Just waiting for more people to join. So, yeah, we welcome you, everyone in our session, especially people willing to find out more about, what we're building with OpenFabric and, about the core technology because the main subject for today's discussion is to present a bit more in depth the things we're building.
Yep. Yep. As Andrew just mentioned to you, we're going to have an in-depth discussion around our technology and how you, my friend, listening to us can benefit from what we are bringing to the market. So, with we will get started right now. So yeah, let me. Hi everyone, my name is Jonathan Marvick Clark, and I'm pleased to welcome you to today's on-demand webinar session with our CEO, Andre Tara. So before we get started, I want you to imagine a platform that empowers developers to unleash their AI models, algorithms, and solutions to the world while revolutionizing how we interact with artificial intelligence. Just breathe and imagine a platform that allowing anyone to build, deploy, monetize the AI models, a platform within our market system. Just imagine the endless possibility. And this platform is Open Fabric Marketplace. Today, we're going to talk about the introduction of Open Fabric technology. As Andrew just mentioned to you, we're going to go more in details about what we are bringing to the market. We will dive into the very fabric of this unique marketplace technology, exploring its special features, empowering tools, and limitless opportunity it presents. Today's segment session will be divided into two segments. The first segment will be a presentation from Andre talking about Open Fabric protocol, and the second will be a question from the general public, and pre-select the question from us as well. So stay tuned as we go straight into details. So, Angie,
Yes.
good. So we will start with you with a very quick presentation. First, introduce yourself, tell us who you are, we want to know you, and we can go straight into the presentation.
Okay, so I'll just share my screen and try to give like a high level overview about our technology and our mission and how we're solving things and which are the current problem today. So
Absolutely.
I hope you see my screen. So when everybody asks about what is open fabric, so in essence we're building a new layer one which is specially designed to scale up artificial intelligence. And when I say layer one, it's actually a layer one is a protocol. It's a set of rules that it brings together like an entire network, which is capable to solve a lot of complex problems. So we call ourselves the internet of AI, because in a way we are connecting people, data, and technology in a way that wasn't done before. So in our endeavor, we are utilizing blockchain technology to scale up artificial intelligence to ensure wider adoption of it. So I mean, what is the current problem? Because maybe most of us will ask, okay, what's the problem in the AI space? So right now, if you're thinking about what's happening in all these big companies like Google, Facebook, Amazon, the main concern is that all these big companies, they had access to AI technology from almost 10 years. But they keep it siloed, and they keep it centralize it, and they make the technology itself extremely expensive and highly accessible to people. So our approach to that is actually to create a planetary scale network which will be powering the new economy. So in simple terms, you want people without any kind of fancy infrastructure or being technical are able to make use of AI technology very, very easily. Of course, in order to enable that, we are building an ecosystem that is bringing together developer, data, and infrastructure, all of this working together in order to create relevant, not only AI models, rather AI application, things that make sense for the end users. So in the process, each one of these parties are providing something to the network. So for instance, developers are developing AI application. They publish that on Open Fabric, and of course, they can monetize that. So each time user is make use of the application, they get paid in return. In the case of the infrastructure provider, they're basically renting their computational power. So in a way, this is used to execute and train AI application, their infrastructure. And of course, in the case of the data provider, they are people or company who are willing to monetize their data model, their training set, that can be used ultimately by the developer to create a very interesting AI application. So as you can see, we are building a full circle, full a full working ecosystem that brings together all the relevant parties so the AI innovation can happen. Of course, this is not something trivial to do, because in the end, people are willing to use things that make sense for them, and they don't feel constrained in any way. They don't feel constrained. They're losing their leverage. Our approach to that is to build this decentralized ecosystem, because Open Fabric in essence is a decentralized ecosystem. And when it comes to our technology, the Open Fabric protocol, it relies on three major innovations that we create. So the first one is something that we call the decentralized operating system, and this is it's like the brain of the system. So it ensures like scalability, deployment, security. In a nutshell, it's taking care that everything is operate as it should. So this is actually the layer which contains, the blockchain side, contains the replication, it contains the application state and everything. The second component, the second, important component of our protocol is the trusted execution environment. So, trusted execution environment, it's a sandbox where the AI application get executed or trained in a secure way. So, by utilizing this, execution sandbox, because in a way it's a sandbox. Only the people who are allowed to see the data and see the algorithm, see what's happening inside the sandbox, are actually able to do that. So in a way, it's ensuring that user privacy is secure, and also creator intellectual property. Now the third component, which is something it's a bit more technical, but it's something very powerful. We call it ontology connection system. So this is something very it's a very powerful component which let people to combine multiple AI models and AI application and Lego pieces. So in a way, it led people to combine like low level, implementation, low level models, low level algorithm to create more powerful and more, uh, you know, uh, you know, targeted to the user, to build application. Instead of building just model, they are now able to build application, which are, easily, usable to the end user. Of course, in top of course, this is the hard part, this is the heavy part, which normally we don't see it as user. So this is the protocol side, but of course on top of it, we build way for people to actually interact with the protocol, because without this high level application, we are just another technical solution. But our approach is to democratize access to AI and make it widely accessible to the end user, not only to the technical people. First thing is something that we call AI Explorer. So this is very similar in a way with App Store, because it's a marketplace in essence. But it's not only that. It's a marketplace combined with an execution environment and a simple way for people to navigate, run, and configure AI application. So besides having like a browser, you don't need any special setup, any special configuration, so you're capable to make use of AI application. The second point of interaction with our ecosystem is it's a mobile wallet. We call it AI Pay. So this is actually something very powerful, because it extends the normal functionality of wallets. That is doing transaction and moving assets and viewing accounts, because this is also being used as a main way for people to manage their identity in a decentralized way. And we think that it's a very important, for the future of the ecosystem. And now the third part, and this is something focus for the developer. We call it AI Dev Kit. So this is like a collection of tutorial, documentation, SDK, API, all of them specially designed to reduce the friction point and to simplify the process of building on top of our protocol. So you know in a nutshell, this is giving away all the complexity, all the details, all the technicalities. This is how our ecosystem works. So we have an underlying protocol which is doing all the heavy lifting, and of course on top of that we build way for people to interact with it. So yeah, I guess that will be like my very short, high level presentation of our system.
Yes, Andrew, this is indeed a high-level presentation for Open Fabric Technology. So if you are just tuning in, this is our very first webinar session on Introduction to Open Fabric Technology. And by the end of this webinar, we hope that you will be equipped with the knowledge to unlock the full potential of Open Fabric AI technology. So as I mentioned to you initially, this webinar is divided into two segments. The first one is where Andre get to present to you of Open Fabric technology, and the second segment will be more about giving question of pre-selected question that we got from the community to point it out to Andre. And by the end of this session, we have one key takeaway from you, which is our high-level product demo. And we're going to do this at the end of this session. But before then, we will take questions from the audience so we can also engage Andre and ask all of our many questions that we may have. So with that being said, we'll jump straight into the second segment of this session. Yeah. So we have the first warm-up question. So most of these questions that we have right now, where they were all pre-selected, we have the community sending in question before. And the first question that we have here, Andre. So you just share incredible insight on Open Fabric technology and how it works. So I think the first question we have here is how does this technology contribute to the ease of building and utilizing AI application?
So I guess to explain in a very simple way, we have to, in a way to take a step back to understand what's happening right now in the AI space. So, there's, ChatGPT kind of opened up, the eyes for people to uh, the willingness to use AI technology in the things they're doing. Of course, a lot of people start building on top of their ecosystem. A lot of people start building similar use case. But right now, one of the biggest problem is like all these products are, most of them are extremely technical, and you need to be not say like an expert in the field, but you still need to have a good understanding of how they work in order for you to make use of them. So Open Fabric is taking a step back and trying to provide a solution from a different standpoint. So we have creating a technology that let the end user to make use of AI technology without being technical themselves. So in the process, we took all this, heavy lifting, and we did all these things um, in order to simplify the user experience, in order to make it smoother, so and reduce all these friction points that normally exist when people are utilizing some complex technology as the AI it is.
Awesome. That's a really good response to that, and I think that also leads me with the second question. You talked about the payment option that are within the marketplace, but I think you did not really go deeper into how does the payment work. So we have this question coming in. They say what payment option are available for developers, and I think you just mentioned that. But they also want to know the infrastructure provider and data scientists. What payment option are available for these people?
So in our ecosystem, of course, I didn't get into the detail too much, but in a nutshell, you cannot build such ecosystem without its underlying economy. So Open Fabric is not only building like the technology and bringing people together. All this cannot work without the underlying economy. So in our case, the Open Fabric economy is utilizing a native token to enable people to do transactions smoothly. So in a way, if you want like a similarity with Ethereum, so Ethereum they use like their Ether, like to do payment, and they paying the gas fee and paying all the fee in the system. In a similar way, in Open Fabric, people will be able to exchange value, because this is about exchanging value. And uh, we push the idea of exchanging value to exchanging intelligence. So in a way, with Open Fabric, people can trade intelligent service, intelligent data, intelligent infrastructure. So in our case, the underlying economy is utilizing the native token to enable people to create do transaction together and to exchange value and information.
That's really good, Andrew. Thank you for providing clarity to that question. So for those of you that sent in that question during the pre-selection, that was your clear answer from Andrew. And Andrew, let's go back to the presentation. During in your presentation, you talked about some of the challenges, but we want you to go more deeper into that. What do you think Open Fabric is in the right place to address these challenges you mentioned during your presentation?
um,
So I can repeat the question. So
yeah.
I want us to go back to the presentation. You talked about the current challenges that we are trying to address, and there's a question that has to do with why do you think that we are in the right position to address these challenges?
Yeah, so I guess, if the question, okay, why is the problem we are trying to solve, or why is the time, why
No,
um,
I think they're asking why do we think we are the right people to implement these solutions?
well, sometimes it's not about being the right or the wrong person. Sometimes the problems selects you, because if at a certain point you're working with multiple things, and it's just connecting the dots, and you see a clear path to solve one of the most challenging problem right now. And I guess we're the right people, because we like hard problem. We are people who are going over the hard problem, trying to find answer, trying to find solutions. So it might be something that is just natural for us to try to solve this problem, because we see it as one of the most challenging problem right now in the space. And of course, it's a very hard problem. It's a very hard to solve it, because we're working on it since 2019. We've done a lot of research. So if you just go on our website, you will see like some our research materials and our research paper, all of these published in top computer science journal. So there's a lot of heavy work in solving this particular problem, the AI problem. But we think we are the right people on doing that, because we are people who like hard problem. So I guess that's a very short answer. Of course, this can be expanded further, and to explain why and how we reach to this conclusion, and how we reach to this particular solution to the problem. But on very short terms, I guess we like hard problem, and that's something that.
That's a fantastic response. So if you just tuning in, this is our first webinar session, and today's topic is on introduction to Open Fabric technology. And Andrew just did a presentation, so we're diving into a pre-selected question from our community. So Andre, like Andre mentioned, we do hard things at Open Fabric, and if you're thinking about why do you think we are the right people to implement these solutions, it's simply because we believe in doing hard things. So that leads me to the second question, Andre. What kind of support and assistance can developers expect from Open Fabric Marketplace?
I guess in terms of the support, as you see, we already built the tools, which we try to attract people to use the already existing tools, skills, or technology. They don't necessarily have to re, remap their thinking or learn something from scratch. So in our approach, we build, for instance, we have support for Python, because Python is the most well used programming language for writing AI models, and artificial intelligence application. So we already created an SDK we let people to use the already prefer like frameworks, python, tensorflow, it doesn't matter. People can use their already existing technology. They just have to to connect it to the with the sdk, wrap everything, and they will be able to deploy their application on top of open fabric protocol very smoothly. So our main support is about reducing the friction point and provide a simple way for people to build on top of open fabric. And when I say build, is not building everything from scratch. Rather, they can get the existing word and extrapolate it and simply deploy on open fabric and make it you know uh, make it instantly available to all the people to make use of it. So in a way, our support is technologically through the tools we provide them, and of course economically, because if they join open fabric economy, they will be able to monetize their skill application or their uh, very own idea, their own creation.
Yeah, I totally get that part. You know, with the giving everything that is within the marketplace, and I think I believe that there are tons of support that have already been embedded into the marketplace for developers. So Andrew, that leads to the sixth question for the second segment. We have this question coming from the Discord community. They say, what tools and resources are available on Open Fabric Marketplace to support developers in building and deploying AI solution? I think this question
So
is similar to the fifth question.
yeah, so we, as earlier mentioned, so we, the dev kit is like, as you may be seeing in my presentation. So the dev kit contains a set of, we have, of course, these are not yet public. They just share with a select group of, community contributors, which are currently building some use case on top of Open Fabric. But we're already providing documentation, SDK, integration support, and a lot of technical tools that are simplifying and that are smoothing and reduce all the friction point in building and deploying AI applications. So we are not just simplifying the user experience for the end user who are utilizing those AI applications. We are also reducing the friction for the developers who are building on top of open fabric, because in the end, developers are just another type of users. They're focusing on the technical side, but at the end of the day, they are just another user, and we are willing that their experience is as smooth as possible in all the possible way.
Okay, good. Speaking of smooth experiences within the marketplace, this one is coming in. What steps are involved in publishing an AI model on Open Fabric Marketplace? What are the steps that are involved?
So mainly there are like two, or let's say three major steps. So first one is, people are utilizing our SDK, Open Fabric SDK. As mentioned, currently we have support for Python, which is the most used programming language for developing AI models. So we already providing something we call the Open Fabric Toolkit, which is a command line application. Using that, they're able to generate the boilerplate for the application, which contain all the major points which are required for the application to run. Then the next step is actually to just to put the application to integrate the application in this boilerplate, pack everything, and then the next step is just to publish it in the marketplace. I mean, in the protocol, and that will be soon get available on and visible on the marketplace. So in a nutshell, the steps are very easy.
I
Use
mean,
the
that
toolkit to generate the boilerplate, add your application inside the boilerplate, pack everything, and deploy it, and that's it.
I mean, that's easy like ABC. I think for non-tech savvy person can easily deploy or build an AI application on Open Fabric Marketplace. That's something that people definitely want to try. So, just a recap on today's our very first webinar session, and we are discussing Open Fabric technology. And Andrew just did a short presentation on our marketplace and how developers and infrastructure providers could benefit from our space. We divided segment into two, which is the first presentation, and the second segment is to talk about pre-selected questions from our community. And at the end of this session, we have on-demand, how do you call it, tutorial video for you to watch. So just stick around because we want you to understand exactly how Open Fabric works watching the tutorial video. So we have another question coming in. How does Open Fabric Marketplace foster collaboration, knowledge sharing among developers?
So yeah, this is this is where the ontology connection system get into place. So utilizing the ontology connection system, people will be able to create new application, but also to integrate existing applications. So, for instance, if I'm building like an real-time voice translation, I mean, I'm speaking, let's say, in Spanish, and I get translated to English. I can easily create that by connecting multiple and low level, I call it low level, but are much simple models. So for instance, you need a model who's transforming your voice into text. Then you need another model which is transforming text from Spanish to English, and then you need another model who's transforming the English text to audio. So in essence, by combining those three models, I can create a new kind of application which it's able to do like voice to voice translation. So this is an example. So basically, as a developer, I'm able to build that high level application, high level solution by combining and all these, let's say, pre-existing models. So in a way, Open Fabric is encouraging people to cooperate, not to compete, because at the end of the day, when a user is utilizing the final application, he will pay also the other people who build the smaller pieces. So in a way, with Open Fabric, we try to foster collaboration over competition. So competition is good, but when building things, I guess collaboration is greater, because it lets people to build each on top of other people. So you don't have to reinvent the wheel each time. You don't have to recreate everything from scratch every time. And we think that it's extremely powerful functionality. And we think it's also like a game changer especially in the AI field, where everybody's trying to reinvent the wheel each over time. So yeah.
I mean, that's actually right, especially talking about collaboration. I think that's a killer move to collaborate with different people in the ecosystem. That's one of how people create ecosystem. There's another question coming in. For those of you who sending your question into the comment section, your question will be answered at the end of this webinar, and that is after the pre-selected question. So how it works is that we pre-select the question from the community, and we answer them first, and then those of you who are asking the question in the live session, we will answer that after the pre-selected question are answered. Yeah, we have another question here. What price model and option are offered on Open Fabric Marketplace for developers to monetize their AR solution?
So in terms of way of how people can monetize their model, their application, right now we implemented like a pay per execution. So basically, you're paying to use an app instance, but of course this is like time boxed. You have a specific time frame that you can utilize that application. Of course, we start exploring more advanced, more sophisticated pricing model and way for people to, monetize their work. But in the first version of the platform, the model would be pay per execution. So basically, if I'm willing to utilize a certain application with a certain functionality. I will pay for, for both, for the application usage and for the infrastructure. And basically that's it. After I did that, I hit the pay button, I did the transaction, then an application is creating for my own usage. So the instance which I have created is something that only me as a, as an owner can access it and can make use of it. So yeah, to wrap it up, the current model is utilizing a paper execution.
Okay, that's fantastic. So I want to know, speaking from a developer perspective, how does Open Fabric Marketplace address concerns regarding intellectual property rights and licensing of AI models?
So this is actually one of the fundamental things that we have in our mind since the inception of the system. So there's a lot of details and technical details in our white paper, but to explain it like in a very high level, without getting into cryptography and all these complex things, our execution environment, our trusted execution environment, it's utilizing some mechanism which basically make sure that no one can look into that sandbox except the rightful owner. So if I'm a user, I can use that, I can send my data, I can see the input and the output, but I cannot see what's in the box. Even the infrastructure provider cannot see what's happening in the execution sandbox. So by utilizing this, trusted execution environment and all the mechanics and all the cryptography which is behind, we ensure that creators or developers intellectual property get secured, but at the same time we also ensure that user privacy is ensured, is secure, because people don't blindly trust to send some potential important information to other applications. So we are secure by cryptographic mechanics and like Shamir secret store and all of these, which essentially ensure that everyone is protected, the developer intellectual property, but also the end user data.
First thing, oh, so yeah, we touched base on that quite clearly. There's another question coming in from this person is from Nigeria, and this from a developer perspective. Are there any restrictions or guidelines for developers submitting their AI models to the Open Fabric Marketplace?
So I guess the main restriction would be in terms of how big the models can be. I mean, we support some very big models. We even deploy like large language model, but of course we still try to restrict somehow each the requirement, or of course if they're like a very special application who has some specific requirements, we can enable some advanced features so you can have more infrastructure as needed. But at the same time we want, since we are a decentralized ecosystem, we want to make sure that people don't get bullied. We don't want to see like developers trying to create just application which are completely utilizing resource without being necessary. So in terms of a developers who's creating an AI application, if there's something that makes sense, then there's and it's utilizing the proper way the resources, and it's something that brings value to the end users, then basically people can be as creative as they will. But at the same time we have creating some security and some policies at the protocol level which try to protect the ecosystem as a whole from those potential malicious developers. So yeah, in a nutshell, if you're if you're honest and you're building something which makes sense for the user and it's providing value, then your application will definitely work on top of Open Fabric protocol.
Awesome, awesome. So this one is for another developer within the community. This person wants to know: can developers? You speak about collaboration, creating already have this ecosystem, right? And now we want to bring this down to a low level, right? Can developer collaborate and combine multiple AI models from the Open Fabric marketplace to create one big complex solution? Can they do it? The developers
Yes.
coming together from Nigeria, how do you call it, South Africa, from Romania, from the UK. Can they come together to create one big solution?
Yes, but the cool part is they don't have even to be at the same place together. They can simply build new solution on the top of existing one. And here's the cool part. We created an incentive mechanics that, when somebody is utilizing like the end result and application, which is utilizing all these, sub modules, uh, subcomponents, everyone gets paid in return. So depending of the complexity, and depending on the size, and how valuable that subcomponent is in the overall scheme and in the end solution, everyone get a share part out of that. So this is our reasoning. We want people to utilize other people work to integrate it in new solution. But of course everyone has to be incentivized at the end of the day. I mean, if somebody is utilizing my application, is doing an integration with that, I'm expecting to be to be incentivized. So this is our approach. We try to create a new economy where everyone is incentivized to collaborate, to work together. Because if everyone gets his share of the monetization, then people will be more than happy to collaborate, to work together, because it just makes sense.
Yeah, I actually agree with you on that part. Yeah, let's move to the next question that we have. We're actually running out of time, but then there are tons of different AI applications that are in the market, and people are more concerned about reliability. Are you going to be reliable? So they want to know what measures are in place to ensure the quality and reliability of AI models available on Open Fabric Marketplace.
Yeah, well, so
Yeah,
that's a very,
that's
yeah,
a good
that,
one.
that's yeah, that's a really good question. And I have to mention that this is also another key point that we have it in our mind from the beginning. So if you are technical guys or you want to find out more, I highly recommend you to read the white paper. But we already created and put in place a mechanics that is ensuring that community is utilized as a curator. So we don't want to be gatekeeper ourselves. We're creating a protocol which is open and people can freely join. But at the same time, when you building an open protocol, the bully will be there, the people trying to act you know uh, in a detrimental way. They will be there all the time. So we thought about create utilizing the community, the power of the masses, like in a democratic way, so people can actually rate application, rate infrastructure, rate data. And of course, if many people are providing like are providing negative feedback regarding some quality of an application or infrastructure or data, then the protocol itself will at the beginning will take care to downgrade it, to show the people that other people are thinking about. And after a while they will just simply remove that from being visible and potentially being used by other people. So in our approach, we are not the gatekeeper. We don't want to be gatekeeper. Of course, at the beginning in the test, and maybe we'll curate a bit here and there, but on the protocol itself, on the mainnet, we're not going to be gatekeeper. Rather, we want to utilize community as a way to ensure the quality and to ensure that people can rely on the things they are utilizing. I mean, even is the application or data or infrastructure. So yeah.
Man, I couldn't agree with you more. I mean, reliability is very much important because that, as I mentioned initially, there are tons of apps and different marketplaces on the internet. But then what set us apart is our ability to have quality apps and being very reliable to our audience and within our ecosystem. So that leads me to the second question. You talked about rating system. So let's go more into details about this rating system. What kind of feedback rating system exists on Open Fabric Marketplace to help developers improve their AI models?
So the rating system is something, and we have I mean, it's, if you go on the white paper, it's, you will see we call it a beta distribution. It's, it's something that it has a lot of, statistics inside, and how we calculate the rating and how things are working. But at a very high level view, without getting into these statistics and things like that, the way the rating system is work is like this. So the more newer that rating is, the more important it is. So in a way, we see this in, like, in other marketplace, in other system, when you have like a very old application which has a lot of history, it has a lot of reviews, and they're always at the top because they're old. They have a lot of time since they are into existence. But when you're dealing with creating new things, most of the time, the new generation and new version of application can emerge, and there are newer, but they can be better than the older version. So in our rating system, we also take in consideration how old was that rating. So for instance, if an application is newer but it has fewer ratings and better, then this may get on top of one which is very old, and people, of course, it has some really good ratings in the past, but people are not using it anymore. So there's a lot of more detail into that. So if there are people are interested in how this is working at a very detailed level, I highly recommend to heavily on the rating chapter in our technical white paper.
Technical white paper. So you just heard that from Andre. If you still need more information, please visit our website and access the technical white paper. So just to recap, today is our very first webinar session on Introduction to Open Fabric Technology, and we have covered up special features, empowering tools, and all of the opportunities that we talked about. And today's webinar is divided into two segments. One is a presentation from Andre talking about the technology, and the second segment is more about answering questions. So we start with the pre-selected questions, and then we move to the one in the live session. And at the end of this webinar, we have a demo to show to you, a demo that our team has been working on tirelessly just to bring to the public. So stay tuned and make sure you stick around to watch the demo. So we drive straight into the next question, Andre, for you. This one is from developer. Can developer customize and configure AI models from the Open Fabric Marketplace to suit their needs?
Yes, so there are actually multiple level of configurations. So one of it is, at the implementation level, when people are building the AI application, and when they, as I mentioned, when they're utilizing the tools to generate the boilerplate, to do all kind of configuration. But they also can do and provide way to configure the application. So basically, they can provide way so that the end user can further provide customization and configuration to the application. And this is something that we have support at the AI Explorer level. So basically, you know, people can create their own AI application, but most of the time they will need to provide some specific configuration to provide a specific setup so this works in their own context. So we created an entire mechanics that enable people to configure the AI application very easily, and at the same time it's a mechanics that let developers to integrate this configuration very easily. without building so very complex and very not maybe not so user friendly interface. So basically, we already provide this out of the box.
Okay, Andre. Thank you so much. So we have a very last question from the pre-selected questions. Again, we're about to open the floor for a question from the live session. So this last question has to do with you, Andre. They want to know the big picture. This is we have touched base on all of the amazing technologies, the special stuff we are bringing to the market, and how our marketplace works, and what are some of the benefit that people could get within our marketplace. So now let's talk about this last big question: what future developments and enhancement can we expect on Open Fabric Marketplace?
So I guess as you will see on some demo that will show up today, we already in the front line of what AI technology it is, and we provide support for most advanced use cases. But at the same time, this is just the beginning. This is just the foundation of something much greater, something much bigger, because we think by bringing people together to cooperate and to create amazing application is like it's something like a chain reaction. So the more people will join, the more people will join as developers, bringing their own idea to life. People that currently they do not have the capabilities or capacity or the infrastructure to build and create their own idea and play with it. We provide a extremely interesting playground for them to bring new ideas to life. At the same time, we create a place for the infrastructure provider to monetize their infrastructure. And right now, there's a lot of people struggling to sell their infrastructure. And the main advantage would be that people can easily deploy on top of that infrastructure by utilizing Open Fabric protocol, because they don't have to customize everything. They don't have to build everything from scratch. So I guess if you just do a step back and have a look on Open Fabric and where we are now and where we're going to be, I guess this is just the beginning. And it's like even though the if you draw it like plot it as a curve, it may see it increases, but we are just at the base of something that is grow exponentially. So in the near future, we're going to see some amazing things regarding Open Fabric ecosystem. We, as you mentioned, we're working hard, very hard to deliver new feature, to create new feature, to create new things. And of course, by letting people to make use of AI technology, they can be extremely creative and they can create things that are hard to predict today. I mean, if you just think on artificial intelligence, like 1 year ago or maybe 2 years ago, it will be very hard to predict, like diffusion model and large language model and whatever we see today. And I guess in the future, the AI technology will be even more impressive. It will be even more mind bending. So and will also be affecting a lot of a lot of industries, and will solve some problems that we thought they are like unsolvable up to this moment. So yeah, I guess if to keep it briefly, the thing we built already is just the foundation of what it will come.
Okay, good. So now, just to close up this question, we just move to the next segment. But I want to say thank you so much for providing a lot of clarity on Open Fabric Marketplace. You did extremely well, especially talking about the future. It's clear that it is promising. Obviously, this is something very huge that is coming to the market. So if you are a developer, infrastructure provider, data scientist, you should want to check out Open Fabric Marketplace, and you want to visit the website, get hold of the white paper, see all of the research work we have conducted and what we are bringing to the market. So now we'll jump straight into the live question. So our first question here is, being a lot of competitors in the area, what plans for marketing do you guys have? So there's a person in the comment section who wants to know our marketing plan. What are your plans?
So when it's about marketing, I guess we saw something amazing in the case of ChatGPT, you
True.
know, from OpenAI. So they got a lot of traction. They got like 1 million users in just a few days, and they didn't spend a lot of time and money and resource to create like very sophisticated marketing campaign. They just showed the product, and people saw the potential and the power of the product. So I think when you're dealing with this very powerful technology, just the technology by itself, it's something like mind bending, something that will create that special effect, and people they will like at least to try it, to use it, to see how it's working. So I guess the right approach, of course, beyond the normal marketing and all the strategy that you couldn't tell to ensure you have a proper marketing and the message get to the right audience. I guess the best thing that you can do is to build an extraordinary product and let people use it. Because if people see the potential and they see the value of the product you're building, I guess this is a very good way to accelerate, a very good way to ensure that your product is reaching the not only the eyes, rather they're reaching people, they're reaching that can actually use that. So there's a huge difference between seeing a video of a demo and actually using that application myself. So we think that the best way, and this is something that all the big companies, Apple and all these big players were doing. They built some amazing products which solved some very very hard problem, and they put it in the hand of the users. So our approach, beside all these traditional marketing campaign and things like that, the main and the most powerful thing is we let people use the product, we let people play with it, we let people see how it's working, and this is something very powerful.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you. I mean, so just to add on to what you just mentioned, we are simply selling value. So we allow you to assess our product, test it for yourself, and see whether it makes sense. And when it makes sense for you, you can hook on. So we're not going to sell to you, say, hey, come and go and use our product. No, we sell value to you, and that's how we intend to go with our marketing, basically. So we have
Yeah.
the next question. How's okay? This one say, how similar are the blockchain? Is anything improved? Okay, this I have to read this from the start. I think this is the second part. Let me go to the live charts. Okay, this person say, I have a question. Since I come from Multiverse, from formerly Elon, knowing your work back in days and what Ewan and you were on this, the co-player, one of the co-players in making the blockchain, which is great. And then they did a photo up. How similar are the blockchain? Is anything improved or is totally different? Is it totally different regarding multiverse X and blockchain? So they want to know. That's a follow-up question to that person complimenting you and knowing that they're saying that they know you. So they want to know how similar are the blockchains and is anything improved? They want to know whether there have been some improvement, or is it totally different regarding multiverse and blockchain, multiverse X and blockchain? Yeah, that's the question.
Yeah, so that's a very good question, because it just gives me the framework to explain better what Open Fabric is and how different it is to all other projects you see. So if you think about blockchain, the first one was like Bitcoin. So its main purpose was to transfer value, right? To send value, to send Bitcoin to someone else. The second generation was like Ethereum, right? So their main invention was the smart contract. So basically all the existing blockchain we see today are a version of Ethereum that's trying to solve problem in a better way. Maybe cheaper, maybe faster, maybe with better user experience. But at the end of the day, all of them are just pivoting the idea from Ethereum. So Open Fabric, in contrast, is something different. So it's like the next natural step. So if blockchain is about, if like Bitcoin is about exchanging value, if Ethereum it's about smart contract and executing smart contracts, and all the things that you can build with a smart contract. Because whatever we see right now in Web3 are based on some very specific and very simple things, which are we see in all the blockchains, but we can simply summarize at enable smart contract execution. So
Okay.
Open Fabric is actually a layer one which push the limit of what a layer one means. So in a way, we are not just a simple blockchain. We had to rethink and re-architecture the entire, how a blockchain is composed and how it's utilizing, how all the mechanics work in order to enable people to execute AI applications. So, if Ethereum was something that led people to execute smart contract and all the other blockchain, which are more or less the same, not the same, but are working on the same conceptual level, Open Fabric is something which push the things further. We basically let people to execute AI application, which is it's a totally different way of approaching. So for us, the blockchain is just one of the multiple layers. So when I presented in my initial presentation the decentralized operating system. So this is like a stack of services. It's actually it's a real operating system, but instead of managing your computer resource, it's managing the resource of a network of node, like a planetary scale network. So in a way, if it's about to circle back to the initial question, uh, I guess we are not the same. We are something different. For us, the blockchain is just one of the multiple things we utilize to create this new, I could say like, groundbreaking way of, letting people executing AI application. So we are building something which is pushing things further. Is definitely focusing on solving an even complexer problem. Not only like trying to have a better throughput or trying to have like a better finality or trying to have a better user experience. We are solving an entirely and even more powerful problem. We try to solve the problem of AI, make it easily accessible, make it easily usable. And this is what where Open Fabric stands compared to other layer ones or other ecosystems.
Yeah, thank you so much for providing that clarity. You really touched base on the most essential parts. We have a next question. This one say, can everyone use Open Fabric, or is it only for developers? So they want to know whether Open Fabric is open to the general public or just developers.
So in this moment, we have shared access to a selective group of people, which are developers in this moment, who are currently, experimenting, building use case, and we get their feedback to further polish, further improve the tools, further improve the user experience. But in some time, we're going to be doing like the announcement at the right time. We're going to make it basically accessible to everyone. So everyone can use any of the AI application in our testnet to play with it, to see how it's working. But at this particular, moment, this is something available only for those early contributors. So if right now there are people watching this and they are interested in trying out Open Fabric technology and willing to build some use case and they are developer, then you can join our waiting list. And if we think you are someone that we can work with and provide access, then you will get access to our technology. You will get access to build on top of it, and why not see how it's working.
Awesome. We have the last question. So before we go over the last question for this webinar, I want the general public to know that we have our keylock demo that we want to show to you, and so you can have a clear idea or understanding of everything that Andrew just mentioned to you, but now showing to you how it actually works. So stay tuned. We have one question to go, and then we'll jump straight into the demo. Andrew, this one say, when can we experience or test the platform?
So we are just doing the final touch and polishing. So we are also preparing some use case. I will just show a couple of them today. But we want to see people to actually see how powerful our protocol it is, because the problem we are solving and the solution we are providing is the protocol itself. It's the environment which enable people to make use of AI application easily. It's the environment that let people build AI application easily. So of course, we're going to have some interesting use cases, interesting application. But I don't want to disclose all of them. Maybe you show a part of them in our social media channel, but we start building more interesting and more sophisticated use case. We start exploring use case that are far beyond the normal, like text to image, or what you see, like large language model, because AI is not only about ChatGPT and all these large language models and diffuser. This is just the tip of the iceberg. So if you get right now in do a research, maybe if you just go on GitHub, you will find more than 500,000 open source repository solving the wildest and more interesting a problem and use case. So you will see some very interesting application. I can definitely tell you that. But of course, the main reason of this application is just to showcase the flexibility and versatility of Open Fabric protocol. So that's why, if I repeat, if there are people who are builders and know how to build AI application, please contact us, please get in touch with us. And if you think you're the right person, then you will get an early access to our technology. You will get early access and support to build on top of our technology.
Thank you so much, Andrew. So right now we're going to jump straight into the demo. This is the more exciting part, and I want you to stay tuned. If you know somebody who you got to pin them right now in the comment section, let them join this live, because this is the most important part that we want you to take away from this entire session. So, Andrew, over to you, please.
Yes, so I hope you see my screen.
Yes.
So you're just seeing what we call the Explorer. So in a way, it contains like AI applications. So I'm just selecting one example. This is called 3D Sculpt. So in a way, it's an application that it can generate 3D models from prompts. So you see here an example for it's a fighter jet, something that's it's T-Rex. So as you can see, we have support, and I'm just going to show multiple applications, but the core idea is to show how flexible our platform is. So basically, we have support for things generally like 3D models, uh, you know, so all these 3D models are you can export them and to further work with them in Blender or something else. Let me see if I get. I want a cake. So I just starting a new running, and in just a few moments the AI will be able to generate like a case. So what I want to mention, is that all these applications, even though they are very different use case, are built having in mind just to showcase the technology itself and how it's working for the end users. So you see, I generate a cake. It's a 3D model of a cake. Yeah, so if I get back, let me see something else. So mine script. So actually, this is like a large language model. So it's like ChatGPT. It's not just something which is accessing the API of ChatGPT, rather it's a large language model which runs on top of OpenFabric. So uh, as you can see, we built something extremely flexible. So you see some prompts, like generating things. It can, write me a story, like a story about ninja programmer, and you get the generated text, write me a poetry about a rabbit. So you see, basically, we are capable to run, very different use case, not only large language model. You just saw like a 3D model generator. Um, Let me see other example. Um, what was that? So I can show like a deep fake. This is something which runs real time. So it's going to have a bit of lag, but just to showcase, I'm running a deep fake. You see, I'm Tom Cruise, so I can start my acting career. Of course, you see, it's a bit of lag because the internet and the connection. But this is something which you see is working very well, and the main purpose of those applications is to showcase how powerful our protocol it is, how easy it is to build on top of it. Let me see another example. Yeah, we have this, it's called graphic editor. So in a way, you just add like a photo, you add like a prompt, and the AI will generate a new type of image out of that. So
Wow.
just for examples, here, like, okay, I put a picture with the house. I said, okay, make me a house of chocolate, and you see, you got this. Of course, this all these applications have a lot of functionality, a lot of things in place. Uh, Let me see what else can I show you now. Yeah, the voice synthesization. So I'm not sure if you're going to hear the sound, but I hope you can hear it. So this is like something I put the fox and the grape story. Here I put a sample of that well-known BBC presenter Attenborough, and
A fox one day spied a beautiful bunch of ripe grapes hanging from a vine trained.
so you see, I generated the sound for the text I inputted, and with the sample voice which I provided. So in a way, it's an AI that can be used to to generate character, and to generate like sounds for different people. So this like is utilizing an input from Steve Jobs, and it's the same.
A fox one day spied a beautiful bunch of ripe grapes hanging from a vine trained along the branches of a tree. The grapes seemed
So yeah, as you see, we have many applications, very different, with their very different functionality, with their very different complexity. All of them can very easily be deployed and used on top of OpenFiles. As you see, I don't have to be a technical guide to use any of these applications. And it's something very, it's extremely powerful, because it essentially led people to make use of all these interesting AI application, but they don't have to endure the friction which normally is there, because one of the key feature of our protocol is that we are reducing all this friction point, and we hiding all these details, and we're abstracting all this complexity for the end user, so that he can basically make use of different AI use case, different AI application easily. As you just saw in my demonstration, I was able to utilize all this application very, very easily. So yeah, in a nutshell, this is how it's working, and this is something that you will going to experience in very short time, as by yourself, because just telling you about it's important, but when you're using that is totally different experience. And I guess people can get very, very creative when they have on their hands all this kind of very powerful technology that we build. So yeah, that's it in a nutshell.
I want to say, Andre, thank you so much for today's webinar Q&A and introduction to Open Fabric Technology. And we also want to extend our heartfelt thanks and appreciation to all of you in the audience. We want to say thank you for joining us on today's Inside Open Fabric on the topic Introduction to Open Fabric Technology. We hope you found this webinar informative. And if your question were not answered, make sure to fill out the survey in the comment section and description. Our team will be happy to give you all the support that you need. Of course, we love to hear from you. So part of the survey will be give us your feedback, give us what you think, and how do you think we can improve our services, and we will be right there to make sure we include all of these suggestions and feedback within our next development. So thank you for joining us, and do have yourself a pleasant evening. Andrew, thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much for everyone attending this. So yeah, I just want to mention it again. So if there are builder willing to to get access and to build the most interesting we think ourselves the most interesting AI ecosystem, just get in contact with us. And if you find that you're capable and you can provide something useful, definitely you will get access to the tools and technology we're building. So for our community, thank you very much for joining with us today. And yeah, see you soon.
Yes, we keep in touch and stay tuned for more amazing webinars coming up. And make sure you follow us on all social media to stay up to date. Or if you don't want to follow on social media, just make sure you visit our website and subscribe to our newsletter. We got all the amazing updates right in your email. Thank you for joining us, and we connect next time.
Thank you very much. Have a good day. Bye bye.